and thin. If I roll them both up and let go, which one do you think will unroll fastest? Think about it. All right, you got your answer? Let's see if you're right. 3, 2, 1. Hey, what do you know? It's a tie.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to another No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. Today's episode brought to you by Neutral Vodka Seltzer, made with real vodka, real seltzer, and real juice. It's Neutral, the one with the umlaut. It's Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Speaking of classics, happy World Baseball Classic to those who celebrate.
Next to Tassie, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o!
Hey-o! And last but not least, over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer, JD.
Hello.
There he is. And here we are. Shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up, comment away, subscribe to No Dunks. Get any and all of your No Dunks merch over at nodunks.com. Hoodies, t-shirts, hats, mugs, we got it all. And tune in tonight to ESPN Plus at 7 p.m. Eastern to see these two studs, Tass and TK, doing some sideline reporter work for the G League game between the Skyhawks and the Ignite. Yes, Scoot Henderson here in Atlanta. And we also have a nice donation link included in the show notes. If you want to send some kids to some G League games, you can help out by clicking on that link. You guys pumped for tonight?
Absolutely. We're pumped. We were down there yesterday doing a little filming beforehand, and that was great to be out there on the court. Scoot wasn't there.
Not yet. No.
But some of our Skyhawks friends were. We got some filming in with Tyson Etienne that you'll see tonight. It was a blast. We'll throw out some footage. For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Tickets still available tonight, too. Come on down.
If you're in the Atlanta area.
We got a back-to-back with the G League.
Back-to-back Jacks.
Yeah. So
every game's important here for the Skyhawks. One game out of the playoffs.
Right.
8 games remain. 4 home games.
Yeah.
Setting the scene for you.
Yeah,
all right.
If you want to send some kids to one of those home games, hit the link. You'll see the link everywhere.
Hit the link.
$20 donation sends 2 children to a G League home game.
Awesome. All right, well, good luck tonight, guys. We'll be watching, of course. We'll talk about it on tomorrow's podcast. But we got some games to break down, some big storylines. We'll start with Embiid scoring 39 again. No James Harden in this one. Didn't matter. 76ers beat the Wolves 117-94. This was our featured game on Playback. Thanks to everybody that joined us last night as we bounced around the association. But what were your takeaways from another monster Embiid game here and the Sixers continuing to win?
The schedule loss, they say, no thank you. 5-game road trip here. They went 4-1 in 7 days, a back-to-back. A few of us figured Joel Embiid, who recently said that I should be sitting out weeks, as the doctors told me, he's coming and playing every single night back-to-back. Yeah, 40-plus the night before, then 39. In a game where they got separation in the second quarter, and then that third quarter where Embiid was a 22 in that quarter. My goodness. The threes raining down. And it's funny how every NBA player's got selective memory. Rudy Gobert said after the game, he started hitting threes, then they took me out, and then he really went off. He was going off all night, Rudy. Every single play, it didn't matter. There's nothing else to say other than Maxey obviously helped out, subbing in for James Harden, who was sitting this one out. But really, it was an MVP performance by Joel Embiid. Sometimes it's as simple as that. The guy was just a monster. If he's banging home, going 4 for 4 from 3, plus doing whatever he wants inside the lane, I mean, he's serious. He's serious about this MVP trek. Even if he claims he doesn't want to be, as he told Chris Haynes after the game, he wants it. He definitely wants it. And he's showing it by playing almost every single night and every single game here, even during a tough sled where he says he's injured.
Yeah, that was just a dominant performance by Embiid. On one side, Gobert couldn't stop him. And Gobert still, even if he's taken a step back this season, a really good defender. And then offensively, Gobert had nothing for Embiid. He could not even really think about scoring after the first couple of minutes there. But we've talked a lot about the Sixers' schedule and how tough it's going to be for the last 15 games of the season, how much they're on the road, all the good teams they have to play. Maybe that's a silver lining, because if Joel Embiid can find out a way to line up games against former award winners, he might win MVP because once he sees another big name on the schedule, he circles it and he wants to go out and dominate, and that's exactly what he did last night. I also think an important win for the Sixers after getting a no defense win against the Pacers to come back and really play solid defense against the Timberwolves. Since January 1st, the Sixers are second in offense. Great. They score all the time, but only 20th in defense. Last night, though, they held the Timberwolves to 39.5% from the field, their lowest performance of the season. And Minnesota only scored 42 points in the paint. They're 8th in the league. They average 54 a game. Embiid was locking it down inside and then obviously dominant offensively as well.
Yeah, he said 4 for 4 from deep, also 9 for 9 at the line. He is now a perfect 28 for 28 from the free throw line over his last 2 games here, and Statitude says the only other center in NBA history to make at least 28 free throws without a miss over a span of 2 games is Moses Malone, who hit 30 over a 2-game span in 1987. So yeah, he's knocking those down at the line. He's next to unstoppable when he's hitting the three-pointer there. Yeah, Rudy's like, I'll come out, I'll try to, but I can't come that far. We almost have to live with you shooting that, and he was banging them 13 for 22 overall. They ended the first half on a monster run and then pushed it up to, like, what did it get up to? A nearly 30-point lead the Sixers did over the Wolves and ran away with this. And now that's their 19th road win this season, 19-12 on the road for the Sixers here. So 2 upcoming home games, and then you said it before, Tass, 7 of their next 8 on the road. But they have like the 4th best road record in the league. They're one of the elite teams on the road, so they're probably not too afraid of going out there and having to string together some more wins to try to, leap the Celtics or even somehow catch the Bucks there, who's creating a little bit of space at the top of the East.
Yeah, they have 4 more losses than the Bucks, so it would be tough to catch them. There is some hope for them to catch the Celtics. They do have, as you said, just as an elite road record as those teams, which is really, really impressive here. They just beat, on this 5-game road trip, the Heat. They snapped the Bucks' 16-game winning streak. That Pacers fun game where they allowed 143 points. And then the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have been playing solid enough. They had won 3 straight. The most impressive thing to me, and why I always kind of question the Sixers team, is that when they went up big in that second quarter, they had that 15-0 run to go into halftime. They always take their foot off the pedal. Always. They always do. And they really crushed them in that third quarter. That was just a crushing, as you said. Got up big. And, holding a Wolves team that doesn't have a great offense, let's be honest. They kind of win with defense. They're sort of the opposite of the Sixers. But in this game, they really couldn't get anything going. And Doc said it, and Trey said it. The points in the paint was where they stopped them, really.
Let's spin that Embiid MVP-worthy performance into the MVP debate here, because yesterday we had ESPN analysts Kendrick Perkins and JJ Redick getting into a heated MVP debate over racial bias on First Take, I believe it was that the show they were on there yesterday, going nuts. And then this had Twitter popping off, everybody sharing their opinions on what the conversation those guys were getting into on First Take, the MVP debate in general. Has it gotten out of control? So we had to hear all of your opinions as well. Why not? We'll be the last ones to the dance here. But what'd you think of, either the discussion Perk and JJ were having, or just what's going on here with 15 to 20 games left for your 3 frontrunners in Jokic, Embiid, and Giannis in the conversation?
Heated is the right word. I mean, it's really getting heated right now. A lot of fights about basically everything except for what's happening on the basketball court. I thought Kendrick Perkins actually made some really solid points, even if he didn't necessarily have the lightest touch when he was doing it.
Sure.
I do think there probably is a little bit of an implicit bias in advanced statistics and how much more they factor into MVP voting these days, just because, advanced stats, by and large, come from mostly white front offices, and that's kind of how they filtered down into NBA media. You also look at the fact that Jokic likely is going to win his 3rd MVP straight this season. That's an anomaly. Also won an MVP on a 6th seed last year. That's also an anomaly. But then with regards to this season, he's having his best season. He's the best offensive player on the best team in the Western Conference, and they're maybe the best offensive team in the league. So, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of hard to... I mean, Embiid is an MVP player this season as well. Giannis is an MVP player this season as well. But Jokic also deserves it this season, just like he has the past couple of seasons. The problem is he shouldn't have won last year. He shouldn't have. He was a 6th seed. but everybody gave it to him because he was better than his MVP season. I was personally honest. That being said, I don't know. I was happy to see JJ and Kendrick Perkins kind of squash the beef afterwards, because I think they realized we probably took this a little overboard, considering we're just talking about basketball awards, maybe.
Yeah, it was wonderful at the end of it, and Molly Curran said, "I wish we had a big group hug," because they were basically said, "I like how Kendrick Perkins said, JJ, thank you for coming on and addressing the elephant in the room," and that's how they ended it. The first comment by Kendrick Perkins about Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, and Nikola Jokic being the only MVP winner since 1990 to be outside of the top 10 in scoring, essentially because they're white, was wrong. And Nash, let's look at what happened in these years. Nash revolutionized the game. Everybody's copying that offense. Dirk was on a 67-win team, and Jokic won that first one because he's just damn awesome. But the context isn't fun, right? The pretext gets all the headlines. Context is for losers. Nobody wants to actually look into what was going on there. Of course, there's bias. I think the biggest thing that's happening right now is a winner like Jokic. It is about the advanced stats, and that's just different than the way Kendrick Perkins is looking at it. It used to be more about straight up storylines, straight up best player on the best team.
Well, hold on, they might be the best team though.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah. That's a big part of it, and yeah, there is definitely the jump from the 6 seed to the 1 seed is different. Last year is where you could have not given it to him. I get that. That's totally true. As far as this season goes, though, the more Embiid jumps in, the more I think that helps Giannis, because there could be an Embiid versus Jokic. Let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the rankings. Default, who's the best player in a series that you bank on? Right. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I do think, though, that the stats thing is kind of changing the way we look at MVP. Just all of the stats. For this particular year here, a guy winning 3 in a row, it's very rare, but it could be, unless we swing the pendulum back the other way, just best player on the best team. And Jokic is not going to be on the best team, most likely. He's going to be the best team in the Western Conference.
Yeah, but it's close.
Yeah, it's a few games back.
Not that far-fetched.
3 games back.
Yeah, you said it. You slipped it in there. I mean, this is definitely feels more heated this year, for a bunch of reasons. And it's okay, by the way, to acknowledge that racial bias exists, and Jokic could be, to you, still deserving of MVP. Those can both be true, absolutely. But it's the criteria used for MVP, and I think Kendrick was trying to make this point. The goalposts seem to get moved, and who is moving them? Majority of white voters in this. It feels like this is Perkins saying this. That can also be true, and we just get into this. What is MVP? What does it mean to you?
The goalposts change.
Every
year. The goalposts change for you, for me, for everybody. Just votes on what they want.
Yeah, your definition of most valuable. But Perkins, he kicked off this specific argument last week when he said Jokic was stat padding. I don't even think we addressed that comment on this podcast, because that to me was like, what are you talking about? Of any guy in the league, I think he's the opposite of stat padding.
I don't know about that.
Really? How?
He never shoots. He never.
A stat padder would be someone that shoots.
Disagree. He's stat padding his field goal percentages. Like, he could take as many shots as Embiid if he wanted to, and he would shoot basically the same percentages of Embiid. He would start taking worse shots.
But maybe he would if we haven't seen that every time he gets a triple-double, which means he's playmaking, the way he plays and all that, they win. And if the whole point is to win, why wouldn't he continue to do on 14 shots a game and obviously a ton of assists and take care of the board? That's the part I don't get. That's not stat padding.
It's different ways. It's honestly different ways. The field goal percentage factor is huge into advanced stats and people talking about EFG and all this kind of stuff. If you want a guy who's a takeover player, it's not Jokic. But it could be. We see him take a ton of shots when it comes playoff time. He just doesn't do it during the regular season because that's not his style.
What do you think about that? The stat padding call out from Perk that TK sees a little truth in that I was perplexed by.
I don't think he's padding stats. I think that's how he sees winning basketball played. Now, I compared him. We discussed the only injection into this MVP conversation we really had was I did a little short comparing him to Steve Nash because Nash didn't want to shoot. Jokic shoots way more. And Nash, one of his biggest regrets is not shooting as much. And he would have loved to looking back, be a little bit more Stephish. And when it comes down to the playoffs, that's where it will really ring true. Like if Jokic wants to win games, if he's going to shoot and lower that percentage, I just think he knows how to win, and he just takes the shots when he needs to. It is great. Like he shoots like 3 to 4 shots a quarter. He doesn't shoot a ton. It is wild, but they win. They're in the first seed.
Right.
LeBron did it too. Like as LeBron got further and further into his career, specifically with the Heat, remember, like he would stop taking 3-pointers because it wasn't a good shot for him. He would only take them when they were wide open. He was working on being the most efficient player he could. That's what Jokic is doing too. It is good. I mean, being efficient is a good player, but look what Giannis did at the start of the season with Drew in and out of the lineup, Middleton missing a bunch of time. He had the biggest usage rate of his career and some of the worst numbers of his career. And we're saying, has Giannis fallen off? Can he not carry a team anymore? Jokic could definitely do more from a scoring perspective.
What do you think about this tweet from HP Basketball, Matt Moore? He said, quote, Jokic literally not wanting to win the MVP is reason enough not to vote for him. I felt the same way about sixth man for Iguodala. If a player doesn't want it, don't vote for him. They should have the choice to opt out, and Jokic has made that desire clear. End quote. From Matt Moore there. That one caught me by surprise. What do you think? If a guy says...
You don't want to fight, give it to another guy. I don't hate it, actually. Fine.
I guess Jokic is sort of on record. I mean, a lot. I mean,
he wants
part
it.
Of it.
He actually does want
yes,
it. Yeah, he wants it.
A lot of these guys, like, the natural thing to say is, yeah, I don't care about MVPs. I want to win games. I mean, that's the most cliche, like, sports answer across all sports of all time. And it should be in a weird way if you want to be like a leader, and it's like it is about winning games. But I'm with you, TK. Like they want to win MVP, especially if winning MVPs because of the stats you do helps your teams win games. It goes hand in hand. But what do you think? If he doesn't want it, just move off of him, Tess. Don't give it to him. Or now we're gonna spite give it to him. Oh, he doesn't want it.
Sure. I don't know. If he doesn't want it, then yeah. Don't win so many games, I guess, is the problem. Listen, if you want to just be a basic best player on the best team, I mean, yeah, he's coming for it. I was wrong. They are a lot closer to the top. They're only 1 game back of the Bucks than I expected, but it's a fun debate to have because there is no definition. Best player on the best team is too simple, too boring. But that would be Giannis Antetokounmpo right now. He's third.
Best player on the best team, it irks me, and here's why. If your team is 10 games clear of the next best team in the league, like if you're a 67-win team, like you said, the Dirk
that's your criteria.
I know, I'm just pointing this out. Like, but this best team when the teams are like 52 wins and 51 wins and 50 wins, I mean, it's like you're not a clear-cut best team, in my opinion. You're all just good teams. Seriously, like
well, that's
when you make
opinion.
the Dirk winning 67, that's like, okay, that's an incredible amount of regular season wins, and much better than the next team. That then I can sort of get behind, but like this like criteria gets thrown out the window to me when all these teams are basically the same record-wise.
They're similar. They're going to end up at like a 57, 58 win team, 59 win team. Those are big numbers. Yeah, the narrative is way more fun. And honestly, Giannis and Jokic have very similar narratives that Middleton has been out and has not been himself for a lot of the season. They've had lots of injuries, and Jokic the same with Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter's been out for nearly half the season. So they've got fun stories, but I can understand. There's just this. It's the number one. It's the fatigue to vote a guy 3 years in a row. I think Perk kind of implied that as well. It's just it doesn't happen. Hasn't happened for a long time until now.
Right. And he's saying because he's white.
Well,
that suddenly we're like, well, where's the voter fatigue that we usually talk about? That's and maybe a fair point from Perk there.
Yeah, but the numbers and the way we look at numbers and the way voters look at numbers is changing.
I mean, look, I'm guilty in preseason podcasts here going, there's no way this guy can win a third MVP unless they have the best record in the league and he has a better year than he did the year before in terms of the numbers and, like, I guess averaging a triple-double, the efficiency, and it just seemed far-fetched that would be the case. But he's done it.
And he's
done it. So
and I think the pendulum is swinging from a guy who won on the 6th seed to a top seed. It's going to go to somebody way higher in the standings. It's just hard to. It just doesn't happen very often. It's an anomaly that a guy won in the 6th seed. Westbrook did it. The next year after Westbrook did it, went to James Harden in a 1 seed. So I think that's a part of it as well. Voter fatigue for low seeds, that exists, I think.
one of my favorite tweets about this whole thing, Jay Caspian Kang, he says, quote, "I think the NBA fan base does a good job with ranking players according to their relative greatness, and MVP awards are a factor, but they're not everything. So Jokic could win 3 MVPs, and if the Bucks win the title, let's say this year, there isn't a single person who will say Jokic is greater than Giannis." You know what I mean? He went on to say, "I only bring this up because there seems to be some conflation between won 3 MVPs and current greatest player, which Jokic basically needs to win the title to even be in that conversation." And he thinks, Kang does, most fans, I imagine, feel this way. I agree with that. It's like how I felt about Steve Nash, too. The back-to-back MVPs, you could debate whether he deserved both of them. Probably not. There was cases for Shaq, for sure. And he is still, I think, correctly ranked because he never won a title. Didn't go on to get the big one. That's and so that bumps you down in the grand scheme of things. And I think that's totally fine. He's back-to-back MVP winner. There's only 9 of them in NBA history, but that doesn't mean Steve Nash is the 9th greatest player of all time. Far from it. It is my favorite player of all time. So I just thought that was a good point, but maybe that's too nuanced. I don't know. It is wild. Oh, man, what a debate. We keep going for hours. I know people have been going off in the stream team since we posted this show, weighing in on the MVP discussion. We don't have a real vote, of course, but, is it still up in the air to you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. As to who will get this? To who?
It all comes down to March 27th.
Okay. Giannis can't even snatch this.
I mean, I would like to think so. Yeah, when you're kind of widely agreed that you're the best player in the league and you're not winning MVPs, that is a little weirdo to me.
But that's happened across
it all goes back
every
to
generation.
Michael Jordan should have won 6 straight MVPs
Right.
when he was playing, but they gave one to Barkley, they gave one to Malone. Because of voter fatigue. But I think that March 27th game, Sixers-Nuggets, that's a huge one.
Huge
Big
game.
narrative game right
That's
there.
right around the corner now. All right, let's keep it going. Don't worry, we'll be talking more about the MVP race.
And we'll be talking
in a
more
couple
about
weeks.
Nuggets when it comes to tweet of the night, not the basketball team.
Food.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
A lot of them. Hope you don't have eating fatigue.
I do not. I do not at all.
I ate so many pistachios last night. I'm still full. Ridiculous.
Like
To not expect
crack 'em?
pistachios.
Yeah. Salt and pepper
I
pistachios.
love
They were so good.
pistachios.
I was like, I'll have a couple of these. Couple thousand. I was so many.
Hey, what do you
And
do?
you have to crack
what do you
every
do
one?
when you find one that's a tough one to crack? You
Give
go with
it-
your teeth,
I
or
give it
do you
one,
just put it aside?
one try. Nope. Bing. Sorry. Charge it to the game.
Yeah.
And you have to crack every one. Because,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, some of them, the nut meat falls out on its own.
Yeah.
And that's just like manna from heaven.
The nut meat. I've never heard it called that.
That's what our friends
Pistachio.
Trader Joe's call them, right?
That's right, buddy.
Yeah.
Really?
It's on the package.
Doesn't say that. I didn't know that.
Joe.
I didn't know
A
that.
wild one.
All right, Pau Gasol, guys. He became the 12th Lakers player to have his jersey retired last night. Did you catch any of this, either live or the highlights this morning? Had the 10-minute or so
6.
ceremony?
I was just 6 minutes of his speech. That's all I watched.
Oh, okay, yeah.
6 minutes. Great to see him. Yeah, he cleans up real nice. Great to see Marc. Haven't seen Marc Gasol in a while. I think Audrey Gasol was also there.
Yeah, people
yeah.
are pointing out he didn't dress up enough for some.
Oh, I didn't see. I
Him and
didn't
his
see
girlfriend.
his dress.
Very casual. That's fine.
Yes, it was. It was really, really nice. It was very nice, and it's nice to see Pau beside Kobe up there as the
Yeah.
jerseys hung up there. It's so nice.
And
to
there was
see those
that
two.
Vanessa Bryant sort of introducing the whole ceremonies, and I think there was a clip of Kobe talking about Pau Gasol's jersey one day being retired and all that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I liked that it happened. I didn't realize this, but Gasol himself had asked for this night for the jersey retirement because they were playing the Grizzlies, and obviously that's where he spent his first 7 seasons in the NBA. Any thoughts on it?
I thought it was cool to see, and I thought Pau summed it up perfectly. Dude's an awesome orator. He said,
yeah.
with Kobe up there, just add something meaningful and powerful and sad and happy and painful and joyful. That's exactly right, because those two are tied together more than any 2 players outside of Shaq and Kobe, and it's pretty close, especially the way, Kobe was ready to leave the Lakers. They brought in Pau basically to save that relationship. It did. Kobe was really hard on Pau, it was when Black Swan was a popular movie, remember? So he's like, I need more of that Black Swan from Pau. Pau ratcheted up his intensity as a Laker, won a couple of championships. So, yeah, it's pretty cool to see 8, 24, 16 all lined up together.
Yeah, and since we always talk about, the negative off-court moments for players, the positive on-court moments, or off-court moments, we should talk about as well. Pau Gasol is truly a part of Kobe Bryant's family's life. Like, no fake stuff. Like, he is an uncle to Vanessa and their children, and that is very, very meaningful. That's the meaningful stuff. And also, I'm sure meaningful was Anthony Davis watching Pau Gasol have his number retired. You can see the likeness right there to being, a 1-1A to a championship with LeBron, just like Pau was with Kobe, sometimes being the best player out there, despite not having to take the shots. And I thought of that, and then he basically said that post-game. I didn't realize that till we were on here. He told The Athletic basically that, like, I saw that, I want to be part of that, and how could he lose on this night? And I thought that's why he took over in the fourth quarter, really. He was the best player out there.
Yeah, let's talk about that game a little bit. 30-point, 22-rebound game. That's a lot of roast beef there from AD to get the Lakers the win and move them into the 9th seed. And also, Kings fans are happy because they're up into the 2nd seed after the Grizzlies lost. Like that motherfucking beam. But Lakers' big run down the stretch. This was a close game, and AD did sort of have a takeover game here, which he's stringing together. Even with the old nose was a mess last night.
Watch your nose,
plugged
buddy.
up and bandaged up. But this is what everybody was saying needs to happen for the Lakers to get into the play-in or maybe even get into the actual playoffs when LeBron went down with the injury. AD, you got to carry the team. You need 30 and 20s or at least 30 and 15s, and he's stringing them together here.
Also, you look at the Grizzlies team, no Steven Adams, Brandon Clark is gone. So, a little light in the front court. So you love to look at an Anthony Davis shot chart, and it's everything in the paint. He was 1 for 2 from 3, took a couple of other jumpers, but basically this was big man basketball from Anthony Davis. Really helped keep Memphis off the offensive boards. They only scored 50 points in the paint. They averaged 58, best in the league. So I thought that was really impressive from Davis, because this is what people wanted. He had to carry the team while LeBron was out if they were going to have a chance of making it back to the play-in tournament, which they finally are now. They're up into 9, which is cool for them. Also, tip of the cap, I think, to Dennis Schroeder and Austin Reeves. Both of these guys have stepped up with LeBron out, with D'Lo out. There are more possessions. We're actually seeing Austin Reeves handling the ball. He's making plays, not just finishing plays, though he did that too. He had 6 in the fourth quarter. Schroeder had 4. Those two guys, a little bit of unsung heroes, I think, for the Lakers so far this season.
Yeah, those two dudes. And Troy Brown hit a huge 3, has become a very capable player. One of those guys, like sort of Lonnie Walker, the Damian Jones guys that they added at the beginning of the season, I thought, are they going to contribute? Troy Brown has definitely grown into the player that they want him to be. I say all those names. It's hard not to cheer for these Lakers.
What?
Even I know. Everybody wants to hate on the Los Angeles Lakers, but it's hard not to cheer for them. At times, Anthony Davis fighting through the nose injury, all these guys working together, and
you never hear that very often.
No, you don't hear that very often.
Fighting through the nose. There's a lot of nose injuries in the NBA last night.
Oh yeah,
we caught him live on playback. Played it back. I will play that nose injury back. Maybe we'll play it back in an upcoming short. But all that to say, the Los Angeles Lakers, I can't even believe this. I was just checking as you guys were talking to make sure this is true. They're in the top 10 for the first time this season.
Yeah.
That's crazy. For 66 games, it took them to be in the top 10 of the Western Conference. And here they are in a battle. We got to talk about Memphis just real quick. Obviously, no Steven Adams, the big ball problems there. They got some issues. That's why Anthony Davis was going off as well.
I liked AD going at Tillman.
Oh yeah,
too small, man.
Yeah.
And he was scoring on him.
Yeah.
And Jaren Jackson Jr. is there. He's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, but
not last night.
No, not at all. Sorry.
This dude wants his number 3 retired, as he told Jovan Buha. It will be weird to see number 3 up there along with those numbers right now when you think about it, but who the heck knows? Speaking of 3, the Grizzlies' last 3 fourth quarters, they got outscored by the Lakers 24-9 in the last 8 minutes, outscored by the Clippers 28-8 over the last 9 minutes, and outscored by the Nuggets 33-17 over the last 12 minutes. That from our friend Fast Break Breakfast. That is their problem. Pre-Morant, post-Morant, they have problems scoring in the fourth quarter. Morant out for 2 of those games. He has sat out his de facto suspension. It sure seems like it's going to be longer. Like, he won't be playing against the Golden State Warriors. But they don't have creators. I look back to the beginning of the season. Desmond Bane was hot. He was scoring 10 points in every fourth quarter before his injury. He is the guy. He is the X factor. He is everything to me. He's got to be more of a creator. But that is their problem. They don't have a great offense, John Morant or not. And so that's why it's difficult to take them very seriously as a contender.
And so John Morant has missed the last 2 Grizzlies games. That's what we were originally told the suspension, non-suspension, whatever we were calling that damn thing, was. It was going to be 2 games, but then we've heard Taylor Jenkins say it's indefinitely, I guess, that he's going to be out. Like, I guess my point is John Morant back for the next Grizzlies game?
Doesn't feel like it.
No. So not good news for Grizzlies fans here, and especially on top of that with the injury to Brandon Clark. I mean, Dylan Brooks, he had missed last game with the 16 techs. They may have been better off with him missing last night's game. I mean, it was a 5 for 17 Dylan Brooks type of game last night. Which
3 for 10 from 3.
He's got in the bag for sure. But they're going to need him, and we'll see moving forward. But the Kings, up to the 2nd seed. Unbelievable stuff. Okay, we're going to take a break. I promise you when we come back, we're going to talk about a lot of the other games from last night, so don't go anywhere.
You guys want to know something that's real that sucks?
Uh-huh.
University of North Carolina is on the verge of becoming the first preseason #1 team to miss the tournament in men's college basketball history. They went to the NCAA championship game last season. They brought back a ton of vets. They recreated an old Sports Illustrated cover. Then they lost a ton of games, including twice to Duke. Unless they do well in the ACC tournament next week, it's over for UNC.
Shocking.
That's real. It sucks. You want to know something that's real and doesn't suck?
Hit me.
Neutral.
Hello.
Neutral vodka seltzer has arrived, made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Real good. So good you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. After Neutral's light and refreshing taste shows you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral vodka seltzer in a variety of real flute flavors.
It's hard to say.
Real fruit flavors.
Nice.
All right.
Try again.
We got real fruit flavors.
Nailed it.
Not flute favors. That's when you let your friend play the flute. This line doesn't make sense anymore. Lemonheads and crayon hunters rejoice. If you're a big fruit head, this is the place to be.
Absolutely.
Neutral is the way to go. Check them out on Instagram at NUTRL. Find Neutral in stores at your favorite bar, or learn more at neutralusa.com, NUTRLusa.com. Try Neutral. It's the one with the umlaut.
By the way, I forgot to pass on this note I got from the Neutral people. Real vodka too.
Oh,
They're like, hey JD, could you also say there's real vodka in it, not just real fruit? I'm like, oh, I didn't know that.
Is the umlaut real?
The umlaut is real.
Okay.
The fruit is real. The vodka, it's real, because some of these drinks they don't even have vodka at all in them. They're
Okay,
just
that's
like
weird.
whatever,
Yeah,
grain
real.
alcohol, whatever. So
Everything's real. All right, still here in the Classic Factory. We're still real. If you're joining us live, hit that like button. Do us a favor. Okay, the other Western Conference wins last night. We had SGA and Josh Giddey with the 17 points, a career-high 17 assists, and 11 rebounds. Help the Thunder get past the Warriors, who continue to struggle on the road. So that was a big game for OKC, staying in the play-in race, obviously hurting the Warriors there in the standings a bit. And then we had Kyrie Irving. He had an awesome late run. Helped push the Mavericks past the Jazz 120-116. You called that one on Playback TK. We were watching a bit of that early game. You said, I will guarantee you this game comes down to the final couple possessions. Basically did.
Always.
And the Mavs get it done. So thoughts on either of those games or both of those games, and then we can get to the West standings. What do you think, Tess?
Well, let's just start with the Warriors Thunder. The Warriors can't stop anybody. It is wild. They've lost 7 straight road games. And I know we've been talking about their road record all year long. Now 7-25 on the season. They give up 137 points. I just find it a little surprising that Steve Kerr is saying, small ball's winning us this thing. Kevon Looney's staying on the bench, coming in as a backup center, and they are going with Kuminga in the starting lineup right now while Andrew Wiggins is out with a family issue, and then whoever else to play along Draymond Green. They really can't stop anybody. They're waiting for Gary Payton II to come back because I just wonder, in the end, who is going to be the guy besides Steph, Clay, Wiggins, and Draymond Green as the other defensive player? Are they going to play Kuminga? Are they going to play Gary Payton II? They can't do the pool thing, can they? Because they really can't stop anyone. And I bring that up because this is the time of year, and this is the type of team that knows how to turn it on for the postseason, and they're just not getting reps together, so that's the worrisome part for them. Great that Shea is back, in the second game back, getting those reps. We thought maybe he's going to sit out. Nah, they're going for it.
Yeah.
They want to win it, and Giddey had a great game. Giddey is he's just a really good basketball player. He's not the Giddey, as Wally Zerbiak said. He is just a very, very solid guy, growing in every part of the game. He had a monstrous game. But it helps when the Warriors really just no resistance. On ball, off ball, some weird turnovers. Draymond Green turning his back on Jordan Poole mid-play.
Jordan Poole's done it again. Remember he got Steph Curry tossed earlier this season because he didn't pass him the ball, and now he got Draymond Green all pissed off that he's turning his back on the play.
He's going to stay on the bench,
turnover.
I think, and be the sixth man. But they have things to figure out. That's why I bring it up, because people, you talked about the Kings in the second seed. It still feels like the Nuggets, for sure, the number one team. The Suns are right there. But the Warriors still have the playoff pedigree, but they only got 16 games left to get it going.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on either of those two games, the Mavs one included?
Just that's a really, really bad Warriors loss. Steph Curry had 40 and made 10 threes, and they lost that game. Been struggling on the road for the entire season. They got to win that one. I'm with Tass. I thought no Wiggins was a huge problem because the Thunder in particular have pretty good size on the perimeter with SGA and Giddey. Giddey in the fourth quarter, in complete control. I thought 6 points, 5 assists. Kind of whenever they needed a basket, it felt like Golden State was making a run. Just a little floater. So really steadying presence from him.
They just think that Wiggins comes back and kind of solves things, along with Gary Payton II.
Yeah.
But Wiggins has been out for a month almost with the family issue, and I just don't
Concerning.
know. It is concerning, for sure.
Kuminga's been playing pretty well,
Yeah.
though, I do think. So that's encouraging going forward that he'll probably be in the playoff rotation. But they need all their guys back basically right now so they can try and get a little bit of chemistry going into the playoffs. I also saw a guy named Rex Farmer make it a $20,000 half-court shot. Rex Farmer. That was a great name.
Yeah, $20K.
Buried it.
He's not a player, just so everybody knows.
No, Rex Farmer. He didn't say he's going to buy season tickets.
Yes, with a part of it.
Respect to that. I think you have to say that. If you make a $20,000 half-court shot, I'm going to reinvest it in the team. As for the Mavs, they lose that game a month ago, I think, before the Kyrie Irving trade. Look at in the fourth quarter. 0 points, 1 assist, 0 for 2. But it was Kyrie takeover mode.
Yeah.
17 in the fourth, 4 of 5 from the field, 8 of 8 at the line, 3 assists, and then you got to give a little bit of a shout out to Tim Hardaway Jr. He's averaging 18 points per game, shooting 55 from the field, 63 since the All-Star break. They need shooting in Dallas. Somebody's got to hit threes. That's how they get into these games that always come down to the last couple possessions, but nice win for Dallas.
Let's take a look at the Western Conference standings if you want to throw those up, JD, because I think after last night's action, it's crazy that between the Mavericks at the 5 seed right now and, the I guess let's just say the Blazers there at the 12th seed, it's 2.5. It's 2 games in the loss column, I guess is one way to look at it. Between 5th and 12th, 2 games in the loss column. This is going is going to be a wild ride here down this stretch, where all these teams play each other still, and just the bouncing around between 1 minute you're in the playoffs, and the next minute you're completely out of the play-in. That's wild. You can just skip over in the entire play-in if you lose 2 in a row or something.
Yeah.
This is when Matt Moore thrives at HP Basketball. I have a hard time keeping track of tiebreakers.
Yeah, he is good
and
at
it feels like tiebreakers are going to be incredibly important in the Western Conference this year.
When we talk about the Eastern Conference, we say, oh, it's great that the play-in tournament's there. We have Raptors to cheer for. We have Bulls to cheer for because they're nowhere near the top 6. But in this scenario in the Western Conference, all these teams going even to 13 with the Jazz, they could be fighting for every single real playoffs.
Yeah.
And so it would probably be even a little bit more entertaining. Like this is one year where you don't need the play-in tournament in the Western Conference, but the Jazz, I think, are the one team. I think they will join sort of the teams like the Spurs and the Rockets, nowhere close to the record, but a team that does fall out, even though they take the Mavs to the buzzer. You want to talk about names? Johnny Juzang was playing for the Utah Jazz last night.
Nice.
Johnny Juzang, rookie from UCLA. They're playing guys so deep. It's amazing how they fight till the last minute. I keep on saying that they're going to fall out, but who knows? Who knows with this team? Anyways, great ball. 1 through 13 in the Western Conference.
Let's move over to the East. We had the Bucks, shorthanded, beating the Magic 134-123, their 18th win in 19 games. We had Daniel Gafford with the putback, giving the Wizards 117 victory over the Pistons. We caught the end of that one on playback last night together. The Hornets snapped the Knicks 9-game win streak with a 112-105 victory, and Mikal Bridges puts up another 30 as the Nets beat the Rockets for their third straight victory. Which one do you want to start with there, TK, from the Eastern Conference games?
I don't have much on the Bucks. Most important thing to me, first start for Chris Middleton. Since the middle of December, he went for 24 points, 11 assists, 5 for 9 from the field, 24 points on 9 field goal attempts, pretty good. 13 to 14 at the line, and he played 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Bud basically said we're trying to ramp up his minutes, so he'll be good to go for the playoffs. And obviously Middleton is a hugely important player for them. We just saw James Harden roasting him time and time again in the loss to the Sixers. So they need him there on offense, and they need his quickness on defense. The Wizards game was pretty hilarious. We had Kyle Kuzma celebrating a missed three-pointer that he would have easily had the rebound from in the corner. We had Brad Beal cooking in the fourth quarter, went for 8 points, 4 of 6 from the field. We had a hilarious string of bad luck possessions for Denny Avdia that we will hopefully turn into a short a little bit later today. And then we had a great performance from Isaiah Livers as the tank commander in Detroit last night. He got roasted by Beal for the game tying layup. Not much defense. Basically just turns like, hey, right this way to the rim. Then, an immediate turnover on the very next possession. I couldn't believe that Jaden Ivey didn't get the ball. The guy had 14 points in the fourth quarter. He was on a roll in the fourth. I thought Dwayne should have went to Ivey there. Went to Livers, and he delivered the loss.
Yeah, Kuz with the big strip there, right?
Yep.
Underneath the
Nice
rim. And then a weird ending where, was it an air ball at the that Gafford
I think it was an air. Yeah, maybe it hit the far side of the rim, but on Beal's floater, overshot it for sure.
Gafford in the perfect position to tip it in.
Taped it all together. Let's just talk about the Knicks. 9-game losing streak, or 9-game winning streak snapped by the Hornets. The Hornets, as we were watching, that was their NBA Finals, baby. They were in Madison Square Garden, hamming it up. Their 3 stars in Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, and Kelly Oubre, 23+, and Kelly Oubre kissing everybody in the crowd, blowing
Felt like
kisses.
every shot he made, he was blowing kisses.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah, he was. He definitely was.
Yeah, as Trey said, one of the best celebrators in the game. I mean, he does it, pretty elegantly. It's not like not an a-hole. It's nice. 10 to 17 for him. But yeah, they were celebrating like crazy. No Jalen Brunson, and it's okay for the Knicks to lose a game after the double OT game against the Celtics. The Hornets won their NBA Finals. That's really all I wanted to take for sure. Then they're done. We'll see next game what they do. Some bad shooting nights, I assume.
Let's take a look at the East standings then real quick. Did it for the West. Why not for the East? You see the breakdown here. The Hawks got 2 games starting tonight in Washington. They lost both of them to the Heat. I had set that up recently where they had this weird schedule, like 2 games in Miami and then 2 games in Washington. So not off to a great start for the Hawks, but we'll see if they can bounce back there. But it's pretty tight. Bulls and Pacers, of course, still alive. But, not a lot of confidence there from you, TK. Gave me a bit of a brush off. You don't think so?
Math-wise, still alive.
Math-wise, yeah. Okay. You think these are going to be? You think those 10 teams above that final line are going to be the 10 teams in the playoffs / play-in?
Not getting my hopes up, Skeets. I don't want to be crushed missing out on the 10th seed.
Well, there's a lot of basketball still.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to pick 'em results from last night. Sixers-Wolves was the game. Some of us thought this was going to be a schedule loss for Philadelphia, but Trey took him anyway, and he got the victory. 4-1 this guy. I'm 1-4. You're 2-3, so not a good month here.
No.
I am on a brutal run right now. So I hope you're making money fading my picks. What's tonight's game?
I faded tonight as well. I'm going for the loser. I feel like I don't like the basketball the Cavs are playing. They're going into Miami as a 2.5-point favorite. I know they're the better team, but it doesn't feel like they should be the favorite either way. I'm just riding with them to win by 3 or more. You guys are taking Miami, which is the smart pick. It's the Kevin Love Bowl, released recently by the Cavs. Hopefully we'll be playing tonight for the Heat. Missed their last game. Questionable as of an hour ago with the old rib injury. These Heats turn it on at some point. Sometimes on, sometimes off.
We forgot to mention Jimmy Butler flying across the country to surprise Pau Gasol last night.
He was
a nice
there.
Little moment that they, I think McMenamin caught on camera. Do you think every flight he's on, he's drinking Michelob Ultras and singing along and dancing in the aisles? It's an easy flight.
Got to be on his rider.
It has to be, I agree. So yeah, okay. Trey and I have Miami to play with some points there as 2.5 dogs at home. Good luck. Let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
I'm hungry.
Well, first let me give a shout out to Q Rich, Darius Miles, the old Knucklehead podcast. Great conversation. I had this basketball-y tweet first, but I decided to go away from it. They had Tyrese Halliburton on, and Tyrese Halliburton talked about practicing for the 3-point contest. And you don't often hear about players and their discussions regarding that. So go listen to that conversation. He said he practiced Thursday, Friday. I think he practiced Saturday as well before, and he never had a round lower than something like 30. Came out with a 31 in the first round and then fell apart in the second round. So it was just really, really fun to listen to that. Aside from that, let's talk Nuggets. Benjamin Hockman with this tweet. You get an hour. Unlimited McNuggets. Interesting. Specific nuggets. McNuggets.
Yeah.
How many can you eat? Trey, we can start with you because you've had the experience on our show previously, the starters. It was a pick and payoff. You had half an hour. Take us through the experience. What have you learned? What would you do going forward?
My strategy when I did it was a half-hour show. I ended up eating 69 of them, and I think I ate 40 in the first block.
Yeah, you went hard.
I went as
early.
hard as possible.
So 40 in the first 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, I was crushing them as hard as I could. And then I don't know if it was because I was crushing them that hard or just the fact that I'd eaten a lot at that point. I've definitely slowed down, so I'm like, I don't think my peak is going to be that much higher. Like 69 in half an hour, you would think, okay, maybe that put you on pace for 100. But I think it's more like 80 because I was struggling by the end of it.
Were you saucing them up?
Early sauce.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
an occasional sauce. You need it for the lubrication
I agree.
more than anything.
Oh, I would be, yeah.
Were you
But I
drinking?
feel like 80 would be my goal for an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you would just pace it a little bit more?
I would try and pace it a little bit more, but I still want to air with more early because it gets so much harder at the end.
Yeah, that's right.
You're drinking water, right?
I don't know, man. It's all
Wow.
it's all a fuse
I
at
can't
this
remember
point.
either.
I had to be drinking something.
You must have had water.
Yeah, I probably had
yeah.
water. We had
Well-
those giant starters mugs.
Yeah. I mean,
Only one mug of water, but 69 nuggets.
yeah, quick math. I guess you were going 4 per minute for the first 10 minutes and then 1.5. 1.5 per minute for the last 20 minutes. So maybe.
Slow down.
You're a nugget connoisseur.
Yeah, I've said before, if I were to ever do, or at least be able to compete in any food eating challenge, it would be nuggets.
Take on the chest.
I don't know if I could do 80. I would love to throw down with you one day and have some sweet and sour packs. But this would be my best event in the food eating world. But I don't know. I mean, some of you came to that party we had, a Super Bowl party, I think it was.
Yeah.
Where our guy Jared brought he brought over 100 nuggets.
Over 100, yeah.
Now we were all eating them, but everybody then left. And I just kept eating them like a sad sack of shit. But I can take them down. Look, I had McNuggets yesterday. All right? In fact, I'll tell you what, McDonald's, stop saying I'll see you tomorrow when I go through the drive-thru. You're not going to see me tomorrow. I come once every 2 weeks. But, man, they do that. And I'm like, damn, am I going to be back here tomorrow? Slick. But yeah, I can. I don't know. 80. I don't know if I could hit 80. I'm a smaller man.
Yeah.
But you'd
then
go
again,
the sauce route. I wonder if the sauce...
I would sauce it up. Yeah, I'm a sauce guy.
I know you're a
He's a
sauce
sauce
guy,
guy.
but
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is a competition.
Yeah,
Maybe
but-
water's the way to go.
No way. First off, water. No thanks. Give me crab juice. Yeah, I would sauce it up, and I'm a sweet and sour sauce guy. But
a great
I
sauce.
could work with barbecue. I can work with honey mustard. What's the other one? Ranch. Sure.
Do they do buffalo at McDonald's?
They do. I think
yeah.
they got a lot of sauces
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, you can't. You can't be a fast food joint without buffalo sauce these days. They used to not have it.
So how would you do?
I would guess. I think I could. It depends on the day, you know.
You're prepping. You're prepping for it.
I want. Yeah, I would prep for it, like Tyrese Halliburton for the 3-point contest.
Right.
I won the poutine eating contest back in Toronto in the 2016
That was
All-Star
impressive.
game.
There's also speed oriented, right?
Yeah.
These are two different things I'm looking at. One is
There was a speed
One is
component.
take it down as fast as you can.
Yes.
And then this is more of a how much can you pack away? But go ahead.
Well,
you
it has
did.
to
You
be
were
in a
good. You were
reasonable.
very
It has to
impressive.
be in a reasonable amount of time. Yeah,
Yeah.
We didn't put a time limit on this, but it's not like a 24-hour competition here.
No, there is a
a
time
1 hour
limit. 1 hour.
competition.
Yeah, it's an hour. This is a timed competition. You get an hour. Yeah. That's right, Benjamin Huffman. Thank you. I had totally forgotten about that. So
What was his answer? Did he follow up? Did he?
I don't know. I didn't follow up on the follow-up.
Because that sounds like a tweet that you say, you throw out there, and then you follow up with like, because I could do 200, you know, like something, like a hell of a brag.
60 minutes. You could do 80. You did 69 in 30 minutes.
He does
But he-
follow up, actually.
Okay.
He does.
Yeah, he says, I think I could do 50.
I could do 50.
Anybody could do 50.
Anybody
please.
can do 50.
1 hour?
Yeah, I could.
I agree.
I've done 50. I'm not proud of it. But,
Anybody.
all right, well,
The next tweet is, Nuggets from where, Ben? Nuggets from where? It's right
it
in the
says
tweet, guy.
McNuggets.
McNuggets, yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were
That's
great.
a Brady
You
nugget.
took
It's a
down-
Brady nugget.
You took down that poutine.
The
There's some
hardest
half.
part of the poutine was it was hot.
Yeah, yeah.
That
gravy was
hot.
Piping hot.
See, I was using water. I was drinking water.
What?
Cooled it down. I don't think anybody else
No,
was
I
drinking
didn't, for
water.
sure.
I was just drinking boiling gravy.
It
was
was.
good. All right, people want to know here. Rank the sauces. 6 main sauces.
All right.
At McDonald's: tangy barbecue sauce, spicy buffalo, creamy ranch, honey mustard sauce, honey, and sweet and sour sauce.
Oh, okay. Wait.
The sweet and sour is number 1.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Me too.
Yeah. Oh,
And it's not
nice.
even close.
Yeah,
It's the only sauce, really.
The only sauce.
Hey, preach.
That's it.
The honey mustard looks all right here. I'm seeing some grains. Some grains.
That's fine. You got a fleck of color in there for sure.
I like a honey mustard. I don't think I've ever had the McDonald's honey mustard.
Yeah, I
But
agree. It was
I'm-
a late addition to the sauce
Yeah, I
pantheon
don't think
there
I
at
have. I
McDonald's.
forgot about honey. I didn't
Oh,
say
yeah,
that.
that was
just a
that was a
straight
classic.
honey.
That's,
Yeah,
that's some
in a
sweetness.
packet usually, not a dipper.
Those were the two
Squeeze
originals.
it on there.
Sweet and sour and honey, I think, are the originals.
You gotta give love to barbecue.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Been putting in work for years.
See, but my problem when I do have a nugget in a McDonald's barbecue sauce, it's like it's not great barbecue sauce. There's so
No,
many
no,
other
not
barbecue
great,
sauce I'd rather be dipping it in.
Have you ever
agree.
gone off the grid, like Sweet Baby Ray's, you know, like,
Travel
oh, they
sauce.
forgot my sauce, and then you use,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Polynesian sauce at Chick-fil-A's.
Yeah.
I bought the bottle of it
Whoa.
at the grocery store.
didn't know you
here.
could do that.
Yeah. Publix sells them. So good. I mean, it's similar to sweet and sour sauce,
Yeah.
but
I think you could eat more Chick-fil-A nuggets.
smaller.
they're smaller,
Smaller.
much
Yeah.
smaller.
The
More
breading,
chicken.
more
almost-
chicken.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. The breading,
Yeah,
less
no-
breading.
I don't know. I don't know if I could, even though they're smaller. That's
Oh, mental, huh?
yeah, it's mental.
done-
Like I've been putting it. I've like
Been
well,
putting
you
in this
guys
work.
know. I don't know. Like I've never eaten a burger from McDonald's.
That's crazy.
Never.
Man. That's crazy.
I've
here.
never.
You're not one of the billions served.
like this is why I'm confident about my McNugget
That's why.
eating ability. I have
You've never
eaten it-
had a Big Mac.
no.
Never.
Ever.
In your life.
Ever. My order at McDonald's since I've been going as a child has been McNuggets. Love them.
That's,
Never thought I'm gonna just try a burger here once.
No, because I love McNuggets. I told you guys when we
crazy,
moved
bro.
to the States, I was
crazy.
pumped because we could finally get 10 McNuggets
Yeah.
instead of 6
Yeah.
in Canada. Oh, and like 6, not enough.
Right?
10,
Maybe McDonald's is trying to get you in with the new chicken Big Mac. Just to change it, put something out on their menu.
Is that coming to American? I saw it.
It's in Canada,
It's in
right?
Canada.
Oh, yeah,
It's
Jerome's
so weird when there's things in Canada that aren't in the U.S. Like,
That's crazy.
Ever have a McLobster? You can get that in Nova Scotia.
I've never
Have
had
you?
that.
No.
You never even
haven't.
tried it out of curiosity?
I don't think I've ever been there when it's like a McRib. It only comes
I
around
don't-
every once in a
Yeah,
while.
people talk about it.
Also, I'm like you. I'd be like, I'm not deviating from my order.
Right. What's your order? What's your go-to McDonald's order?
I like a Big Mac.
Okay.
Yeah. But I've had nuggets. I'll mix it. Hey, I've had a quarter pounder.
don't say I haven't had a night.
Say yeah.
They were smart when they did the daily like sandwich meal. Like Fridays were fish fillet, like so you
like
it
that?
encourages. Yeah, sure.
That's why they say see you tomorrow.
Yeah, get this thing.
See ya on Fish Fillet Friday.
I really don't like when they say that to me. Like, I shouldn't be here to begin with. Don't say you're going to see me tomorrow. All right. We will see you tomorrow, though. How'd you like that? Segue.
I did like that.
But tonight, you got to check out ESPN Plus. Tass and Trey doing the sideline reporting for the Skyhawks G League game, G League Ignite, game. It's on ESPN Plus. If you're in Atlanta, you can watch it on Peachtree. 7 o'clock. So make sure you check out the guys. Support the guys there tonight. Get your tweets off about these guys. Tweet the Skyhawks. Tweet the Ignite. Tweet the G
All about
League.
these guys.
Tweet the NBA. Tweet Gatorade. What else? Tweet McDonald's while we're at it, I guess. Give him enough free publicity here today. But yeah, that's tonight. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Appreciate you joining us here today. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. If you're a Survivor fan, that's also on tonight. I hope you guys have your hits early in this game, because I got Survivor starting at 8 o'clock. I might be dipping off. But we'll be back.
Whoa. Major news here.
What do we got?
This is from at Sports Report on Twitter. The Hawks announced that Trey Kirby and Tass Mellis from the No Dogs podcast will be on the broadcast for their G League affiliate tonight on ESPN Plus.
Jeez.
That's exciting, man.
You guys are in a media
press release?
Yeah, you guys are big deals, man. It should be.
cool.
What the hell was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Survivor. That's on tonight, and if you're a Survivor fan, we do our own podcast about that show. It's called No Buffs. It's up on YouTube. It has its own podcast feed, and we'll be doing that tomorrow afternoon. But anyway, we'll see you here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, like they say at McDonald's and Applebee's, see you tomorrow.
Race the day, people.